What's up YouTube, it's Dean Charles Anthony II, back again here with another video. Today we're going to be talking about my review of the Canon 50mm 1.2. I've had this lens for roughly about a month now. I've done a small wedding, a few other shoots with it, and I just want to give y'all my thoughts, my recommendations, and just my honest opinion about what this lens is, what it's worth, what it's capable for, and is it the right lens for you? Well, that's really for you to decide, but hopefully I can help you with that decision. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is image quality. So when it comes down to image quality, this is one of the best, sharpest lenses I've ever used in my life, to be honest with you. So I'm more accustomed to the Canon 50mm 1.4, the EF mount one, and so jumping to this L lens, particularly this 1.2, I just saw day and night of difference. The way that it the crispness at its widest opening, so at 1.2 versus 1.4, it's something completely different. Just to be honest with y'all, and where I really saw it shine was at f4 and f2.8. The lens is just so sharp, it holds so much detail, it's very pleasant. Almost like, I guess a best way to say it has a lot of character, particularly at those ranges, that it just looks really good to the eye, and to the point where I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Especially when I was taking headshots, I was like, okay, this is something different right here. The image quality, like I said, is amazing. I'm not gonna beat that over a horse. You're gonna be able to see, you can go check it out with a previous video, I'll link here, with me shooting with the 1.2, and this upcoming Saturday we'll have another video of me shooting with it, where you'll get to see even a little bit more of the image quality directly in a behind the scenes shoot. The second thing we're gonna talk about is autofocusing. When it comes to autofocusing, this is a very fast lens, especially for a 50mm. One of the things I didn't actually care about previous 50mm is for its autofocusing. If you're shooting video and it's a live autofocus, you hear a lot of sound, especially with those EF mounts. I think everyone kind of knows that if you've experienced using them. But two, this 50mm 1.2, I was having very little issue with the autofocusing, even in backlit situations. Situations where honestly you couldn't even see the person because I'm using flash, so we're basically balancing the light, especially when the sun is going down and whatnot. And this 50mm just did an absolutely amazing job focusing. Now I will note, like, and you'll see this in the upcoming video, sometimes it did not actually catch the eye, but it caught the body. But these are also where like the person is nearly completely blacked out type situations. But just with some letting my finger off the autofocus and clicking right back down, boom, back on the eye. It did a great job being snappy with the focusing. If it couldn't make a decision, it made a good second decision, which is always where I appreciate when using autofocus on any lens or any camera body. So with the autofocusing, it was a very smooth experience. It was experience I just enjoyed. It reminded me a lot of autofocusing with like my 70-200. It was just really snappy. It was really solutions oriented, and it was really easy to recompose or to fix the focus to where I needed to be, where I didn't feel like I was wasting time or I was losing quality of my shoot. All right, so number three, we're going to talk about size. So we're comparing size, so let's just be. Alright, so this is the 1.2, the 50mm 1.2 on my R5. This is the 50mm 1.4 EF on my 6D Mark II. So like y'all can just kind of see if it focus real quick. Y'all can already see like it is a much bigger lens, and just even in comparison to the 50mm 1.2 in the EF range, this is still double the size. So as much as it is a beautiful lens, it comes at a price that like they had to make the lens so much bigger and weigh a lot more to both have autofocusing in it and for it to have as much glass as it has. And so that's honestly a pro and con that really I think that you need to like really think about, especially if you want something just a little bit more compact. I do believe that you don't necessarily need this much glass or this big of a lens, or necessarily even an RF lens, an L lens in the 50mm range. Most 50mm are just amazing. And if you want to get some more information about 50mm, you can look at this video right here, or just check out my last video. It should be up there. But this 50mm is very big, and so the cost of the greater quality comes at the size. So if you can get a 1.8 or 1.4, I'm not sure if there's an RF 1.4, I still think that is a lens worth having, especially if you don't want something so heavy. You know, part of the reason why we even did this mirror, we switched to mirrorless as a community of photographers, you know, was the size of the bodies, just to be met with lenses that were twice the size, right? So it's just kind of like that catch-22. But size is a factor. It does weigh a nice little bit. It's comfortable for me. Y'all have heard me say this before. My last camera, my second camera that I was using as my main camera previously was the 1DX Mark III, and so this is already a very big camera, and usually my setup is also with the 70 to 200, so it's not the heaviest thing for me, but it's still a very noticeable difference. And so I just want you to keep that in mind while you're shopping for this lens or considering this lens to add to your collection. It does have some weight to it if you're looking for something lighter. All right, the next thing that we have is price. It's an expensive lens. Part of the beauty of a 50mm is that, like, we have this world called a nifty 50 where you can get a very high quality lens for a very cheap price, or a much cheaper price than what you would get with, say, something like this or another L lens. So this is the extreme of that 50mm. So that price, it reflects that extreme. I don't really know the price off the top of my head, but it's 2,000 something dollars, right? Versus like you can get a lens for under 1,000 for, like, I want to say it's in that $400 range. You can get a very high quality 50mm. So that price is something that you just really need to think about. I know for me right now in my photography, I just wanted to go high quality, the highest quality that I can get. I kind of wanted to push that this year. So that's part of the reason why I went with the R5 over the R6, because of the megapixels. Part of the reason because I committed to this R5, I went ahead and got the L lens just so I can really push the limits of what my photography can do and what these machines can do. So the price is definitely something that you want to think about. It may not be worth it. You can get amazing images without it. I do want to mention that you can get amazing images for a cheaper price, but price will make a difference. So just make sure you're choosing wisely for what you need, and make sure that it's reflecting the work that you are going to be putting out. Alright, so we're gonna wrap this video up. So last things, my overall opinion of the 50mm 1.2 over this time. These interviews will never be really technical. It's a whole bunch of opinion and feels. You're gonna get the feels from me. But for what I can say is it is a very well built lens that does come with some weight to it, weight and size to it. But it is a high quality lens. If you're looking for a 50mm that's gonna really push the limits of what you've seen in a 50mm, if you're someone like me who went ahead and went with the 1.4, but because of price range, right, and really wanted to jump to see like how much further could Canon go with that 1.2 by really jumping into that L lens series and getting the most out of a lens and a camera body, I think this 50mm is the 50mm for you. Now, if you're a little bit more budget constrained, which is perfectly fine, it's okay, or if you're a person that doesn't necessarily need that, right, because let's talk about it, like, it's based off of your need. If you don't need to be pushing the limits, this is not the lens for you. You should be getting a nifty 50. You might be wanting to invest into a 35. You might be wanting to invest into a 7200 or something else, But that doesn't mean that this 50mm is right for you. So you got to just make that decision based off of your actual needs, your actual budget, and what you plan on doing this year. This year, I plan on doing a lot more branding work, particularly so having this high quality 50mm works a little bit better with me. That's how I can just push the limits of what I'm doing with my branding work and with my storytelling. But you can still tell those same stories with a nifty 50. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. But right now I'm in a place where I'm looking for the best quality that I could possibly get in the work that I'm doing. And so if you're in that same place, go ahead and get to the 50mm, the 50mm lens 1.2. If you're not, or if you just don't need it, which once again it's fine, just go ahead and jump down and get a different 50mm or get a different lens. But overall, I love this lens. I'm just gonna go ahead and give it I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. And the reason I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 is because I still wish that it focused a little bit better backlit in those very dark situations. And since I didn't necessarily enjoy that 100%, it's not gonna get a 10 out of 10 from me. But absolutely amazing lens, great for any professional. And that's it. Hope y'all like this video. Make sure you liked and subscribe. Make sure you go see my last video, or if this video has been out for a while, make sure you go see the video after that. But thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all. This is Dean Charles Anthony II. This is my 50mm review. Let me know what you think. If you want some different information, make sure you put it down in the comments. Talk to y'all later.